I call the February 3rd, 2020 regular council meeting to order. Flag salute. Tim, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
A silent roll call has been taken and a quorum is present.
Okay, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the January 6, 2020 regular council meeting minutes?
So moved.
Stan, is there a second?
Second.
Shirley. Discussion. All those in favor? None opposed. Moving on to petitions, communication, citizens requests. At this time, I'd like to have Liz Allen, Program Director of the Maine Law Enforcement Accreditation Program, a program the Maine Chiefs of Police Association presentation to the program and importance of such for the Old Town Police Department. So, Liz, could you meet me at the podium with Chief Wilcox, please?
Hi. Should I start?
Yes.
Okay. Outstanding. Good evening. I'm going to preface this by saying I'm at the tail end of a horrific cold, so forgive me and bear with me. Not the way. No, it's over. It just won't leave me. So, Mr. Council President, esteemed city councilors, Mr. City Manager, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for allowing me to join you this evening. My name is Liz Allen, and I'm here on behalf of the Maine Chiefs of Police Association. I am the director of the Maine Law Enforcement Accreditation Program, or MLEAP, as we call it. It's a true honor for me to be here with you tonight, as tonight is a first, a big first, in fact. It's a celebration of a professional achievement that has never been attained in the state of Maine before tonight. It's with sincere pride that I share with you the news that the Old Town Police Department has become the first Maine law enforcement agency to achieve state accreditation. I'm sure it's not a surprise to you that your police department is among the very best in Maine. After all, you see them at work here in your community every single day. But I guess you could say this MLEAP designation makes it official. Last September, a team of 3 assessors from law enforcement agencies across the state of Maine evaluated the Old Town Police Department for in all aspects of their facility and their operations. They did this through off-site file review and on-site review. The agency was found to be in full compliance with each of the 162 identified standards for Maine law enforcement agencies. These standards cover all aspects of law enforcement operations, including things like use of force, pursuits, property and evidence management, and patrol and investigation operations. Upon review of the assessor's report, the MLEAP committee voted unanimously, that's a big deal, to award your agency with accreditation status. So I'm here tonight because the Old Town Police Department stands out as a model of excellence in law enforcement. This agency has earned the highest recognition of professional excellence in law enforcement in Maine. And they are the very first to do so. That is truly something to be very proud of, and they are to be commended by their community, by their peers, and by all of Maine. I'd like to recognize Public Safety Director Scott Wilcox and Deputy Chief Lee Miller for their dedication to this community, to this agency, and to the accreditation process. They are truly blazing trails here. This is clearly an agency of distinction, and credit, I know the director and the deputy will both agree, credit for this accomplishment goes to the men and women of the Old Town Police Department. They deliver exceptional services to your residents, your businesses, and your visitors. MLEAP is the compilation of best practices needed to address the most critical tasks in law enforcement. The standards were developed to ensure the protection of citizens' rights, to improve the safety of our public safety employees, and to assure the operational and professional integrity of the agency. This Friday evening coming up, the Maine Chiefs of Police Association will present this actual award to the Old Town Police Department at their winter conference held in South Portland. Your PD will be celebrated by their peers and held up as a model of achievement. You should all be very proud of that. So, the award reads as follows. For serving as a model of excellence in law enforcement and successfully meeting the professional standards established by the Maine Chiefs of Police Association and the Maine Law Enforcement Accreditation Program, the Old Town Police Department has reached the highest level of professionalism and integrity and is hereby recognized as a state-accredited law enforcement agency for a period of 3 years. So, to the City of Old Town, to Director Wilcox, DC Miller, and everyone at the Old Town Police Department, I offer my sincere congratulations on your exceptional police department, and I ask each of you to help me in celebrating the Old Town Police Department, the first state-accredited law enforcement agency in Maine.
Just real quick, I'd like to thank Liz Allen and the Maine Chiefs of Police for this presentation on the Maine Law Enforcement Accreditation Program. On behalf of the Old Town City Council and the citizens of Old Town, I'd also like to thank Chief Wilcox and all the employees of the Old Town Police Department for the hard work and dedication that it took to achieve this recognition. We appreciate that you all work every day to provide a safe community for all of us to live in. Thank you and congratulations. Chief, everybody stand up. We're going to take a picture. You guys stand right behind us.
I'll drop it.
You're going to tell everybody where to go.
Yep. Because as long as I'll just get in there, yeah. Okay, so, yeah.
Donna, nice.
So Scott, we're gonna put you on the outside now. I think we have to.
Back here.
Look at Donna and Carol, yeah.
Right next to
Actually, this will work. Nope. Yeah, good luck. Okay, ready?
Ready, smile.
1, 2, 3. One more? 1, 2, 3. There you go.
Perfect. Congratulations. Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's good. Yep. See that? I take cell-phone cameras. Again? When it's just going along with maybe, social media or something. Oh, yeah.
We are still under petitions, communications, and citizens' requests. At this time, is there anyone else from the audience that would like to discuss an item that is not on the agenda? If so, please come forward and state your name and address.
Hi, my name's Lita Terrio. I'm here to talk about the notice that was in the Penobscot Times, a little public notice sheet, which I actually did not look at. And it wasn't until Mr. Mitchell came to the house and asked me if I had read it. And I thought, oh my God, who reads that stuff? Because it certainly isn't going to be me. You have to have a magnifying glass just to read that. Well, evidently, it is a line, 189, that goes from, we'll say, River Street all the way practically around the island, that has to do with some of our property. So I'm thinking, it says in this that if an interested party needs to reply within a certain amount of days. So I'm thinking, I don't even know what's going on, because evidently this you guys have talked about this for a few years, and yet nobody that's of interested parties has even got a letter or a phone call or anything saying that there might be a problem. So I don't know what my problem might be on my part of the land that I have taken care of for 47 years. So I know we're not going to talk about this tonight because it's going to take a while. So I'm hoping that we can have a meeting soon, because I think it's down to like maybe 8 or 9 days where I have to reply to this in Bangor. So, I just don't understand why this has been going on and nobody's heard anything. So we just don't know where we stand with our property. So, your turn.
Yep. I'm going to let the city attorney speak at this point.
Do you want me to sit down?
Are there others who want to make comments?
Is there any other? Yep.
Yeah.
Coming up, state your name and address, please.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Jim Mitchell, and I live at 3 Meadows Street. And I hope some of you remember that I was here 3 years ago on this discussion. So it's time for us to try to talk again, and I would like to invite anyone of interest, the council, any of the administrators, to come down and look at this property. I think you've been talking about something without seeing it. So come down and take a look at it. I'm around all the time, walk around. I can help explain what's going on. But, and even you, Ed, I can show you a copy of that title that you couldn't find. So that's all I have to say. I invite you down, but this is time for us to talk. And I hope that we can do that soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? City Attorney, please.
But from here, okay, so
Wherever you want to go.
members of the council, members of the public, Mr. Mitchell is right. I recall being here in March or May or so of 2017, and he came forward and asked for, he wanted a permanent right to tend his gardens and things of that nature behind his house, and the city at that time was not prepared to do that, offered him a license, meaning that, yep, we let you do that until it becomes necessary that we utilize that property for some other reason. At that time, we thought we owned the property, and I suspect that we still do, and I suspect that maybe when we get to the bottom of this, we'll find that there was this deed that is mysteriously, at least I haven't been able to find it. Mr. Mitchell indicates he has, so that's great. You know, that's really what this process is all about. If he has a copy of a deed to that property, good. That's what this process is about. Anybody who has a legal claim to that property, Mr. Mitchell receives specific notice because we know he's alleged some sort of claim, but what we did was we went forward and we took the property by eminent domain in August, public proceedings. It was all publicized. And then pursuant to the statute that we acted under, we filed what's known as a petition with the court saying we have taken this property from owners unknown. It has a value of $32,000. We'd like to publish in the newspaper so that anybody who reads the Penobscot Times or the Bangor Daily, wherever it was published, can come forward and state their claims. And if they can prove to the court that they have good claim to that property, they'll get paid for it, because we're not looking to take something for nothing. Although I think we probably do own it. We just haven't been able to determine that. The property is basically, it appears on all the tax maps. I know that some of you have been in and talked with Mr. Roy about this, so you know what the property looks like, how it's depicted, and that's how it's described in that long description in the newspaper that you saw, ma'am. There's a sewer line and a pump station in that property. Obviously, that was not installed. That was a multi-million-dollar project, and it wasn't done without some sort of evidence of title. But the engineers who did the work at the time couldn't verify title for us when we tried to find out how the city came to own that property. So we've taken it. We do own it now, either by an earlier deed or by our action taken in August of 2019. So we own it. The process is working. You've gotten notice. And if anybody wants to make a claim and convince somebody wearing a black robe that they own the property, they'll get paid some money for it. It's that simple.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. We'll move on to reports. Council President. I would like to have Captain Hildreth and Chief Wilcox meet me at the podium, please.
So tonight, what we want to do is bring council up to speed and make them aware that Captain Hildreth was honored and awarded for being the Fire Officer of the Year through Penobscot County Fire Chiefs, which is a great feat for him and well deserved. Just an outstanding officer and leader for us. And what I'd like to do is just take a minute and read the nomination letter that was submitted by Chief Eric Gifford from Bradley that nominated Mike for this. So this is Chief Gifford's nomination, and he states that I would like to nominate Mike Hildreth for Officer of the Year. Mike's the captain of the Old Town Fire and Rescue, started his career as a junior in Milford, and quickly rose through the positions of a senior member. Mike has supported his community not only as a firefighter, but has also served as a town council member for Milford and the emergency director of Penobscot Nation. Mike's a great role model. Department members see his calm demeanor, and he quickly rolls into a mentor and role model as well. I have personally worked closely with Mike on several emergency calls, and he's always professional, compassionate, attentive, and thoughtful. His concern for all parties involved is clearly apparent, and his humble manner is easily seen. If asked, Mike will just shrug his shoulders and says, "I'm just doing my job." Truly goes beyond this and all job descriptions as a natural leader. Mike is well known across the state of Maine in Maine firefighting, and he has earned the respect and admiration of those who work with him and work for him. It is truly an honor to nominate Mike for Officer of the Year award.
I'd like to thank Chief Gifford for the nomination of Captain Hildreth, the Penobscot County Fire Chiefs Association for recognizing Captain Hildreth, and the Public Safety Director Wilcox for his presentation. On behalf of the Old Town City Council and the citizens of Old Town, I'd like to thank Captain Mike Hildreth for his long service to the city of Old Town, especially his leadership during a tragic, fatal accident in January of 2019 and a very long night in September, serious fire in the downtown. It is that leadership combined with the skill and teamwork of the other firefighters on scene that allowed for an outcome that included no injuries and the damage being contained as much as it could. Congratulations on receiving the Fire Officer of the Year award, Mike. It is much deserved. Please pass the council's appreciation on to the members of the fire department for all that they do daily to make Old Town a safer place to live and raise a family. Congratulations. Thank you very much. Up and down. Coming up, sir. What'd she say?
No, yeah, I'm not gonna hug.
Okay. Carol, can you step just towards Stan a little bit, please?
This way.
Yes, she is. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Thank you.
Nice job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Okay, now on to business. So the only other thing I had, if everybody just wanted to take just a very few couple minutes, I mentioned about discussing if we could talk about taxes, what we're thinking about as far as the number, just so Danielle and Bill could kind of get a start on this. I know we're having a finance committee meeting in a couple weeks, and then in March on the 16th and 17th, I think, or 17th, 18th, we're going to start the budget discussions with the department heads. But just real quick around the table, does anybody have any thoughts on what direction we might want to give to Bill and Danielle, what we're thinking at this point? I'll start at either end, whichever one wants to start.
I'll go first. My goal would be for us to keep the tax rate the same this year.
0%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think that would be a challenge, but I would agree.
Okay. Carol? Tim?
As a goal, I would say yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Donna? Stan?
Yeah, I'd like to see what falls if we do that, but it's a good place to start. You know, we may not be able to achieve that, but if we can look at it in an order of what we're going to give up to reach that, make the decision then, yes.
Okay. All set? Yep. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Moving on to standing committees. City councilors. City attorney. Special committee.
You back
I'm
up?
sorry.
I just had a couple quick questions. One, along with the upcoming budget discussions and stuff, one question I probably get asked most frequently has to do with the paper bag trash disposal that we deal with. Is there a way that we can call out what the actual cost of that is? You know, so when we look at the budget, we could say, well, if we didn't have that, it would cost X number of dollars. Okay. And then the other thing I was wondering about is, I know you just got back, Bill, but do we know if there's been any movement on the house at 393 Gilman Falls Avenue? I've asked about it a couple of times, and I know you had some discussions with Dave Russell about it.
Which one is that?
It's
one is it?
real dilapidated. It's been falling into the ground for some time now, and
I don't know where it is. It's
just before College Avenue, if you're going out on the
Oh, okay.
opposite side.
on the opposite side? Okay.
Yeah, Earlene Morgan's property. In fact, before I went on vacation, I had another discussion with her because she had told me she was going to have it down before the first of the year. It's still standing. I asked her not to make me become the code enforcement officer that she doesn't like, and she said she would get a contractor in there.
Okay.
Because I did notice that one of the buildings on the property actually collapsed. And I'm
garage,
afraid the
yes.
other one's going to do the same thing, so.
Yeah.
Where it's a safety issue, and what point do we do
I will
something
reach
more
out to
than
her
just
this
asking
week
her?
and get back to you so you
Okay.
know for sure what she's doing.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Perfect. Okay, we'll jump to city manager. Welcome back, by the way.
Thanks. Only update I really have at this point is property tax relief fund is actually funded this year. So if you have a homestead exemption on February 5th, check should be going out from the state to you for around $104. Not just you, anybody in the city that has a homestead exemption.
Probably good we clarified that. Any questions for Bill?
That's it.
Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. Items number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Counselor Ketchum, please, on all 5 of them.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves the reappointment of Donald Sturgeon to the Old Town Water District Board of Trustees for a 3-year term to expire on March 31st, 2023. Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves the reappointment of David Russell as plumbing inspector and William Murphy as alternate plumbing inspector for a term to expire December 31st, 2020. Resolved, Old Town City Council hereby accept an after-deadline redemption on foreclosed property, account number 3895 for Cassandra Lally at 42 Karen Circle. Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves the victualler's license renewal application for Mr. Costas, GBA Riverside House of Pizza, LLC, 4 Free Street, pending David Russell, code enforcer, final inspection. Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves the victuals license renewal application for DBA Thai Basil by Kim.
That's okay. Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Say Carol. Discussion? All those in favor? None opposed. Okay, thank you. We're moving on. Public hearings, old business, new business. We have 3 items. The City Council will consider approval of the lease agreement between the City of Old Town Municipal Corporation and the Old Town Little League, a Maine nonprofit corporation for property located at 11 Gilman Falls for use of a baseball facility. Councilor Folster, please.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves a lease agreement between the City of Old Town and the Municipal Corporation and the Old Town Little League, a Maine non-profit corporation for property located at 11 Gilman Falls for use as a baseball facility for the term of, we have some blanks. And that's what we wanted to discuss, is, I can fill that in. I just wasn't sure at this time how long you wanted to put that out there. Obviously, the Little League has been on that field for basically 25 years and maintains it, dugouts, painting it, mowing it, the fencing, everything about it. So I left that blank on purpose to find out, what you felt comfortable with. Is it a 10-year term you want to look at?
Get 10 years?
I think that's reasonable.
Reasonable?
Yeah.
10 years? So Tim can add that in there.
Commencing whenever you sign the document.
Correct.
Which hopefully will be tomorrow. That's the plan.
Second it.
Then yes, okay, so Stan second. Discussion?
Just one.
Yep.
So 37 years ago, built that field. Sergeant Corporation, HE Sergeant at the time. The Knights of Columbus paid for it, but we
How many years ago?
37 years ago.
Wow, it's in great shape. Good job. Okay, all those in favor? None opposed. Okay, item number 2. The city council consider a land swap of a parcel of land, .14 acres located on 2692 Old Benneck Road, Old Town, by the heirs of Eric Hutchins to the city of Old Town in exchange for land of equal value. The exchange is a voluntary transaction involving mutual transfers of land or interest in the land between the heirs of Eric Hutchins and the city of Old Town. The city council will further consider authorizing city manager William J. Mayo to take any and all actions upon such terms and conditions as he deems necessary or appropriate to conclude the transaction. All expenses incurred in the exchange will be paid by the heirs of Eric Hutchins. That is Councilor Smart, please.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council hereby approves the land swap of a parcel of land, .14 acres, located on 2692 Old Benneck Road, Old Town, by the heirs of Eric Hutchins to the city of Old Town in exchange for land of equal value. The exchange is a voluntary transaction involving mutual transfers of land or interest in land between the heirs of Eric Hutchins and city of Old Town. The city council further authorizes city manager William J. Mayo to take any and all actions upon such terms and conditions as he deemed necessary or appropriate to conclude the transaction. All expenses accrued in the exchange will be paid by the heirs of Eric Hutchins.
Is there a second?
Second.
Stand. Discussion. Travis.
Give you a little background on how we got here. When Eric Hutchins passed, he left his property to the Sportsman's Alliance of Maine for development, future furthering of their programs. They did spend a lot of time cleaning up the property, deciding what they wanted to do with it, and decided to list it for sale. It is under contract, and the contract was supposed to expire, I believe, the last few days of January. They discovered during some title work that the well, if you look in the green area, that round circle that says well, is about from me to Mr. Mahan, from the front of the house, and the property line is between the house and that well. So when Mr. Hutchins had his new well drilled, not knowing he was just over across the line. So the reason this right-of-way is so much wider here is because this used to be a state road, and the old Benneck Road used to be the road through there, and when the state abandoned that right-of-way, the road right-of-way stayed the same size. So this is Old Benneck Road, if you're not familiar, is just before the interstate on Route 16. It's a little dead-end road with about 4 houses, I think, four, maybe 5 houses. And when you look at where this house is, if you were standing in front of this house by this well, it's probably about 50 to 60 feet of mowed lawn, and then a huge embankment that goes down to the ditch before you even get to the shoulder of the road. So this is way, way back off the road. I asked John Rulo, our Public Works Director, to go out and look at it from his opinion, as far as road maintenance and drainage and things like that. And I'll paraphrase, but it doesn't have any play at all in the maintenance of the road or the drainage. It's so far from it. And the bank is so steep between the grade where the house is and where the road is that it just doesn't come into play as far as road maintenance. So in the end, we don't have any need for it. And it's stopping the sale of the house at this point. They've extended the contract deadline until tomorrow to talk about it again if the council approves this land swap. The piece they're offering to give us really just widens the road right away on Old Benneck Road a little bit. It's just a 1-for-1, as you can see, a mirrored swap that Pliskin Day did to propose the same square footage change hands. And there are no abutters involved. It's the city's road right away, and then this whole other large piece is the estate of Eric Hutchins.
Any questions for Travis? Good? Okay. All those in favor? None opposed. Last item, City Council consider going into executive session pursuant to Title I, MRSA 405-6A for the purpose of discussing economic development matter. Councilor Peterson, please.
Resolved, the Old Town City Council approves going into executive session pursuant to Title I, MSRA 405-6A for the purpose of discussing economic development matter.
Is there a second?
Second.
Kyle, discussion? All those in favor? None opposed, and it is 6:29.